everybody. Welcome to Variety Talk Live in Las Vegas. I am your host, Linda Leak, and guess what? We're not in Las Vegas today. We're in lovely downtown Studio City, and we are where? At the premiere of A House Divided. I tell you, this is a wonderful and exciting night. We have many characters who are here. Everybody's kind of mingling and just getting ready for the fun. So sit back, relax, and get ready. We're going to have interviews, and it's really exciting. This is an episode put together that has been a long time in waiting. So we're so happy to have you and to be here at this set. We'll be back in a moment. Hi, everybody. We're here with Peter Wise. Peter is the casting director of A House Divided. Peter, first of all, it's been great talking to you on the phone and just getting an idea of how wonderful this is. Tell us, what's it been like to just put something like this together?
It's really great to be involved with a project that has a message. You know, so often we have things that are nonsense and just of commercial value without any substance. Well, this show has substance.
Tell us just quickly, just name a few of your projects in the past.
The longest running Broadway show in history, Review, Smokey Joe's Cafe. I did Jesus Christ Superstar, Evita. I did a Fantasia story on Lifetime.
No, you're not busy at all. No, not at all. Well, you know, Peter.
SIU with Dan.
Oh my goodness.
Laugh Out Loud. I did Kevin Hart's Let Me Explain. I just did a film last year, 2 years ago, with Nick Cannon called She-Ball. So God has been blessing me.
Absolutely.
That's why all the favor and the blessings to is the man upstairs.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. You're watching Variety Talk live from Las Vegas. I am your host, Linda Leak, and as a matter of fact, we are still live from Las Vegas, but at home. So we, even though everyone is returning to their studios and some people are back at work and others are not, we at Variety Talk are still operating from home. And as we're doing so, we're having the honor of being able to visit with people and chat with those who are doing some extraordinary things out there still while this pandemic is going on, believe it or not. And so today we have with us an actor, a producer, a casting agent, a writer. This gentleman has been in the business for over 20 years. He is a 7-time nominated Tony Award winner. He is also an NAACP award recipient. He has received a Trumpet Award. He is known for being one of the most successful, having the most successful African American owned companies, casting companies around. And the list just goes on and on. So rather than me giving all these wonderful credentials, let's talk to him ourselves. All right, everyone, we'd like to welcome to the show Mr. Peter Wise. Welcome to the show, Peter.
Hi, Linda. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you? You look just fresh. You look fresh. Most people look pandemic struck. You look fresh. I should say pandemic stricken. So tell me, what's the secret?
God, faith.
Amen. Okay, that is it. That's beautiful, beautiful answer. And I'm 100% with you, Peter. 100% with you. So tell me, before we even get into who you are and what you're doing, you are faring well through everything. Are you, I know you're at home and you're still working from home, but you guys are still out in the studio and taking.
Filming through COVID and dealing with the COVID guidelines that were in place by the government and the different states, as well as our union, SAG, for the actors' safety. We have our safety for our crew, and then we have to respect the guidelines of SAG for the actors to make sure our actors stay healthy and out of harm's way.
Wow. Yeah. So that's a bit much. Well, I'll tell you, I was encouraged to do this. And speaking of God, I honestly, from the bottom of my heart, in addition to Dave McKnight, who we'll talk about later, was encouraged to do this interview with you because a year ago I had the joy and the opportunity to come out and work with you and others from the who were came together just for the grand opening and the launch of a house divided. And so I just wanted to say kudos to you for actually now it's been a whole year since you've actually launched that series on the on the Urban Movie Channel. And how's it doing? Tell us a little bit about House Divided.
Wonderful. We got picked up for a third season. Third season, we really excited about. We just wrapped it during COVID um, because the scripts are just phenomenal, and the talent that uh, came aboard to guest star and reoccur in the future episodes were just outstanding. And really, it became a family unit of a very, as you know, the storyline is about a well to do family and more money, more problems. And it shows it doesn't matter at what level of the economy chain you are, you still have problems. Well, if either you have money, you could have problems, or you don't have money, you could have problems. You're not exempt by your bank account. Matter of fact, the more money you have, the bigger your problems become. You know.
Well, that's a reality.
Yeah,
Are you?
and that's what we're
That's
that part. So people who with less don't feel you're missing anything.
mm-hmm,
Uh,
mm-hmm.
I used to look at things when I was coming. It's funny. Um, when I started in the business when I was 16, 17 years old, and God has blessed me to have a successful career in front of the camera as well as behind. And I'd look at families who just had normal lives, so to speak, um, or which I thought was normal because I was in show business, uh, a not so normal occupation. And I look at them and they would be happy and just enjoying the simplicity of life and of love and of gathering together. And I said, wow, I'm going to miss that because of the occupation that I chose, which is glitz and glamour and all that other stuff. But in the long run, it doesn't necessarily mean happiness, you know? So it's about the value of things and what you put on it. And just to be loved and respected, and to come together as a family, that's more any treasure than being a superstar or anything else, you know? And
Very well put. Very well put. I'm sure almost, well, a lot of people can identify with that. And what a beautiful, awesome message for this time right now for everyone as people are going through so much with all of the changes that are taking place right now. So it gives everyone an opportunity to um, really appreciate love and all the wonderful things that you're speaking of that are outside of just what financial progress is all about. So that's really important. We were talking earlier before we got started about those wonderful pictures above your head. And they're excellent, excellent. I mean, first of all, let's just start with Cat on the Hot Tin Roof.
right.
Uh, these are things that these are all your accomplishments. So let's just start there. Tell us a little bit about because first of all, there's Cat on the Hot Tin Roof. There's Jesus Christ Superstar, Smokey Joe's Cafe. But let's go with the cast that you mentioned to me with Cat on the Hot Tin Roof.
Well, I was very honored to that Debbie Allen, who directed it, called me to come on this project with her. We have worked on several projects together, me and Debbie. We did the Fantasia story on Lifetime. I cast that with Debbie, uh, and she'd been like my mom, my my showbiz mom. You have so many in your family as you're going in your journey in your career, and she's been very instrumental in just educating me and mentoring me. So she asked me to cast that, and it was a drama. And I've done musicals on Broadway before and won awards, a Grammy for Smokey Joe's, and we were nominated for 7 Tonys for that show. And it changed the sound of Broadway, Smokey Joe's, and me casting it from legit sound to more contemporary vocals. Um, so in doing that, and then also the fact that it was a Tennessee Williams piece, which is
Mm.
a classic, and it was done white. And I grew up watching it with Burl Ives and Paul Newman and Elizabeth Taylor.
Mm.
So, so to, no, no, was it Elizabeth Taylor or, oh God. Um,
Well, I'm proud of you that you can remember those many characters.
that's my job. I feel so bad right now. But I haven't spoke about the show. But the fact that we were able to make it a black cast, you know, and in doing so, I watched Terrence Howard grow up because his grandmother, Minnie Gentry, lived in my building in Manhattan Plaza, where I moved to when I was a young actor. I was the youngest person. They did a documentary. We just won an Emmy actually on that called Miracle on 42nd Street.
Wow.
And that was a whole nother part of my life, leaving my parents' house, moving into this artist complex on 42nd Street at 17 years old, being the youngest person with an apartment on the 38th floor. Samuel L. Jackson was the security guard.
Oh
And
my goodness.
Angela Lansbury lived in the building, Larry David, um, Tennessee Williams.
What a
So
story.
Alicia Keys grew up there. So anyway, I talked Terrence into doing his first theater Broadway show, which was Cat on the Hot Tin Roof. Uh, Felicia came on board. It was so incredible to have Felicia Rashad, Debbie's sister, and James Earl Jones played the lead character. And we sent the message that, again, it didn't matter if we're black and white. Families with dysfunction is a family with dysfunction. No matter what color you are,
Mm.
dysfunction or generational curses that need to be broken, they
Wow.
in everybody's bloodline. And we
Mm.
need to be aware of that. And that's what we translated. We didn't change the text either. We kept it pretty much pure to what Tennessee wrote because it
Mm.
wasn't about a color thing, it was about a family thing. And
Mm.
showed on Broadway, and it was a very successful run. Matter of fact, Stephen Bird produced it, who now is doing incredible work. He just worked with Kerry Washington in her show on Broadway. Um, so it just, again, showed that we can translate our stories and people are interested. We broke records. In 6 months, we sold out and made a profit, which was
Wow. And I just want to digress a little bit. How in the world can you end up in one complex with all of those superstars in one spot? That is absolutely amazing. How long ago was this? This was when everyone was getting started in the business.
well, no, not really. It was in 19. I moved in that complex in 1977.
Okay. Well,
Um,
that's still a while back there. That is very impressive. And Samuel L. We have to make sure he sees this piece. the
well,
the the
and you could go to John Carlo lived there. You could go to Miracle on 42nd Street.
Okay.
Don't get it confused with Miracle on 34th Street. It's called Miracle on 42nd Street.
mm,
It's on YouTube, and you can see clips of it about the building. And it's really something that should have been promoted throughout every state because it was a high-rise building that was originally constructed for very wealthy people. People with
mm-hmm.
the contractors lost their money, their funding, and so the city took it over. And it was on 42nd Street where there were pimps and prostitutes and drug dealers, peep shows. 42nd Street was called Hell's Kitchen because it had all the underworld stuff there. They were like, well, who would want to live in that neighborhood? And the city turned around and said, well, actors can live there. They have the certain kind of je ne sais quoi to,
Mhm.
to float around and right next to Broadway. And they're right near where they work. So they made it available uh, and through the grants to put us in it with subsidized housing for some people. 70%, I think, of the building was subsidized housing, 30
Mhm.
regular. So it was based on your income, which it is still today. So we had swimming pool, basketball court. It's a luxury building, very well kept. And equity got involved. And so that's how it was created. So
Nice.
it was like a dorm. It was like a,
Nice. What a nice story.
it was incredible to be a young person
Mhm.
in that environment. Uh,
Mm.
it was so inspiring, and it was such a safe environment for me.
Mhm.
You always hear the nightmare stories of what the kids in Hollywood went through, and being molested or whatever. I was always well protected.
Mm.
I had such a village looking out for me that, Loretta Devine would cook for me and Sandra McLean. And there were so many different people in my life at the time, Elaine Graham, Terria Joseph, Eugene Lee, so many people lived in that building. And it was like, hey, we made sure we checked on each other. Are you,
Mhm.
Baba,
Mhm.
are you okay? Yeah, I'm okay. Did you eat? So it was such an incredible experience.
Beautiful story.
I say to God that I've been blessed, and that's why my journey is not.
Mhm.
It's about
Mhm.
what I pass on because I was blessed to have it.
Mhm.
So
Absolutely.
proud
Absolutely, which takes me to my next question in terms of your selflessness in terms of service. That's what I'm hearing coming from you. Everyone knows they have a purpose, and yours is in serving within this industry. So, how did you get bit by the acting bug, or did you just come out of the womb wanting to do this? What gave you the passion to get involved within the industry?
Well, it's funny. I was just talking to my sister Malva about it yesterday, who's a school teacher and who was one of my inspirations. And she said, well, baby brother, and I mentioned her because she was a poet. She was writing at the time. And we would do, plays at the church, the Catholic Church and stuff like that. And we did The King and I. And I remember I was one of the little kids of the King and I kids who ran around. I was the youngest. And I didn't realize, okay, I enjoyed it, but it wasn't my calling. I did not plan on being an actor. I was at a gym in Staten Island where I grew up, and someone asked people at the night center would they want to be in a movie, and I was like, yeah, right, a movie. It didn't tell us the title of the movie or who was involved. Um, People signed up. Well, I was the last one to sign up, and so I signed up. Uh, Went to New York to meet the production company and the people with a group of us. The woman who was the angel took us, I forgot her name offhand, and took us to Third World Cinema, was the production company. Got to the office, then they gave us sides. I'm like, what is a side? The scripts. I'm like, really? Okay, so learn this and you're going to read it. So I did. I did very well, and they had gave me a call back. I eventually got down to the finals. They wrote me up in the paper in Staten Island, like Peter Wise up for this major role in the feature film, blah blah blah. And I was like, oh God, wow, I never had this before, you know, and everything, being a celebrity. And so we got to the finals, and there was five of us. Lawrence Hilton, Jr. was one of them, who became my mentor and took me along the wings. There was a lot of people from Alfan and the NEC, and I was the youngest again. And the director, John Berry, rest his soul, said, you know something? you have a lot of potential. You have a gift. You are the
Mm.
most inexperienced, but there's something about you that is unique, and you should continue in this business. I've seen a lot of talent. I said, really, sir? He said, yes. So I saved my money and took pictures that summer, and my sisters checked out the photographer, make sure nobody was going to take advantage of me. And I took pictures, got a portfolio, and started modeling. The movie was called Claudine, and
Oh, wow.
Look How God, which I hired James Earl Jones to be on Broadway. Okay,
Oh my goodness. Look
I
at
hired
that.
Lawrence Hilton Jacobs to be in my series. See how
Wow.
so it's
Amazing.
when you find your purpose instead of your ego,
Mm.
you're being used, then it's all revealed to you.
Mm.
So later, and from that, I did the Manhattan Theater Club. Starletta Dubois played my mother in my first play, and it's ironic that same theater in the Manhattan Theater, because they had about three or four different theaters in that place, was where I saw my first show called The Sirens with Debbie Morgan, Gloria Edwards, and Roger Hill. My first off Broadway show I saw there. Would you believe I auditioned in another theater up in Harlem, Frederick Douglass Creative Arts Center? Didn't know it was going to be the play that I auditioned for was going to be at the Manhattan Theater Club, the same theater I saw my first off Broadway show.
You talk about a full circle. I mean, that law of attraction just it's all around you. That's amazing.
That's God.
Yes,
So
it is.
when you pay attention and you're not caught up in yourself, your mind,
Yeah.
then you realize you've been guided.
Yes. Yes.
I've been,
Yes. Wow.
so, and
Mm.
this is, and I've been so fortunate to, this is the only job I've ever had to do
Mm.
career wise. I've been so blessed to make a living from the time I was 16 to now
Mm.
doing this business, from being in front of the camera,
Mm.
being on a soap opera. Oh, I didn't even, I was a regular on a soap opera for a year with Alec Baldwin and Kathleen Turner called The Doctors.
I
And
remember that one. Yes.
NBC. I left that show because they didn't have other black people on. I said, I can't be on this show. I did this for a year. You need to have more people of color. Who am I,
Mm.
George? You give me five different storylines in one show episode, and I'm carrying this, but I don't know who I am. And I
Mm.
ended up bringing Melba Moore on my show and Larry Riley, and I still left because they weren't my family. They were in different scenes, but they weren't connected to me.
Mm.
Still didn't have a family. Neither did they. So I said, this is not doing a service. And NBC at night wanted me to do more work. So Fred Silverman, he just passed away. Uh, so I started doing it. I did Hill Street Blues, Wonder Woman, Columbo, Tour Duty, Hunter. So I started doing nighttime, going back and forth from LA to New York. So kind of that was my acting thing. And then I did Broadway and a lot of regional theater.
Speaking of which, Broadway, let's go to the next one above your head there. You've got Jesus Christ Superstar and um uh tell us a little bit about that one.
Well, that was amazing. It was during, actually, I think that was before Smokies. I had a chance to do Jesus Christ Superstar, and I love that show. With the original, with Carl Anderson, who played Judas, who passed away, rest his soul, and Ted Neely, who was the original. These were the two original creators of the role who did it on the movie and on the Broadway show.
Hmm.
And I worked with them, and I brought my friend in, um, Irene Cara, to play Mary Magdalene. Irene Cara,
Wow.
Last Dance in Fame. We grew up together, and I asked her to do it. And then Dennis DeYoung from Styx, he played Pilot. I mean,
Hmm.
Pilot. And who else? Barry Dennen, Kim played Herod. So it was, and then I had a chance to do it with the original cast later on. Ben Vereen,
Oh
Ben
my goodness.
Vereen, and Jack Black did it,
Mm.
and Von
Wow.
Orman.
You are it's amazing. I'm just floored. I couldn't even read half of what you're telling me in terms of my research. This is really, really amazing. The names that you're giving out, these people who have made monumental careers out of their lives, and all of these people that you dealt with and worked with, and you all have worked together in
Yeah,
terms of really making a very meaningful experience out of your careers. We're going to take a quick station break right there. And when we come back, we're going to move it up a little bit to what you're doing now and get our Variety Talk audience excited about that as well. So, everyone, you're watching Variety Talk live from Las Vegas. I'm your host, Linda Lee. You're sitting in with Mr. Peter Wise, and we'll be right back.
yes, indeed.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the show. You're sitting in on Variety Talk Live from Las Vegas. I'm Linda Leak, and you're sitting in with actor, producer, casting director, overall wonderful guy, Mr. Peter Wise. And everybody needs to know about this gentleman and all of his accomplishments because they are great. We don't even have enough time in this show. I mean that from the bottom of my heart to go through everything that he has been honored to do within his life. But we will talk about as much as we can. And during the commercial break, we got a chance to see some pictures, and I am just floored at seeing just more things that you've done, Peter. So tell us first about the picture that you had with that wonderful woman that played in Raising from the Sun. She played the mother, and you had the honor of acting alongside of her. Tell us about the story.
Well, actually, there's this picture here. You can see it, trying not to have too much light on it. Uh,
Yes.
Wonderful.
Is
Uh,
that you, Peter? Oh my God, what a beautiful picture.
that's me at 17 years old. Uh,
Wow.
and that's Claudia McNeil. And
Claudine McNeil.
yes, and she was the grandma in A Raisin in the Sun with Sidney Poitier. And Woody King directed me in that play at Center Stage, Baltimore. And I was very honored to play the lead role. And Liz Van Dyke was involved in it. Ronnie Clanton played my brother, and he was in Education. Sonny Carson. I had such an incredible cast, and just to be the lead, I mean, it was amazing. Such an amazing experience. Um, for your first big show
Yeah, yes.
in the regional and Center Stage is a beautiful theater, 500-seat theater.
Mm,
And that's why I said my journey is God. It's only
mm. It's
God.
a beautiful story. Tell us about Amen. We saw a picture from Amen Corner.
This is I did the lead in Amen Corner at the same theater. So I guess I didn't do too bad the first time. They just
They decided to have you back.
and I had the honor. Walter Dallas directed it, he just passed away, rest his soul, from the Freedom Theater in Philadelphia. He was artistic director, and I met James Earl Jones. I mean James Baldwin. I'm sorry,
Mm,
Mr. Baldwin came and saw the show and was so touched by it because he hadn't seen it since it was done on Broadway
hmm.
by NEC. Uh, he brought his mother the next night and said,
Wow.
"You did an incredible job." And he spoke to me. I was think 19, like maybe 2 years later, and he said, "I did such an incredible job." And playing that role, and with Bill Cobbs and Frances Foster, who played my mother. Uh, so that was another amazing experience.
Mm, mm.
And it's so funny, and I realized from that particular show, I wanted to the when you take on a character, some of the character stays with you in your
Yes,
you open
yes.
the porthole. And that's why. later on, I decided to teach because when I saw things of what happened to Robin Williams and people like Keith Ledger, brilliant actors, um, they opened up portholes and nobody was able to close them. They don't teach you how to close these portholes, and they're spiritual, you know, and so you're letting out these spirits that nobody teaches you to close. So I started school. Uh,
Mm,
and that's where my other part of my life, I have an
mm,
acting school. To
mm.
because on the shoulders that I stand on are through the people that I've worked with, Ozzie Davis, Al Freeman Jr. I did an after school special, was nominated for an Emmy on that one as an actor. And these people spoke into my life. And so I have to give back while I'm here, you know?
And this acting school right now, is it presently available for everyone to come in and be a part of your school right now?
Well, because of the pandemic, we have closed our doors, but we're online. So
Okay, wonderful.
online, and I have a website,
How can people, do you want to give that out right now so people can reach you?
www.pwastudio.org.
Okay. All right, everybody. So you know that that's a very big deal. Peter Wise Acting Studio. This is a gentleman who came up in the city of New York, managed to live amongst all of the who's who right now, and where they worked as a family and helped each other. And Peter, you were just there are just certain people out there that no matter what, they're destined to be, and evidently you were. And let's talk a little bit about your spirituality and your faith, because in and out of our conversation, even throughout the breaks, that has been the nucleus of your conversation, which I certainly can appreciate, because in my opinion, I feel the very same way. So tell us about how God interacts and plays a role within all of what you've spoken about so far.
Well, even, with the school, I was just recently, I got a phone call one morning about 7:30 last year, 2019, and someone from LA Unified called me up and said, Peter, do you have a book? And I said, a book? I've been thinking about writing one. He said, well, with all your experiences that I know of, you have such an incredible story and you should write a book so we could put it in our schools. So they commissioned me to write a book. And this is the book uh, called Show Business, The Tools for the Actor. And it's a workbook that it's not out on Amazon yet. I just have it in LA Unified. And it's now starting to go out. Well, I would have been doing book tours this year, but the pandemic. But you can either
Nice
contact
picture.
my school, the website, or you call Miss Linda Leak Show and
Mhm.
find out how to get the book because I don't have it available yet, uh, just publicly. Um, and I'm really proud of it. It's a workbook and has all the information for people who want to get in the business and learn and know the basics, as well as the intermediate requirements of being in show business.
Beautiful.
And make a
Oh, that is just beautiful. You know what? So you talk about a legacy. So when it's all said and done, and hopefully not anytime soon, people will really have a lot to be appreciative of, not only from all of your work, but just the books that you're leaving behind and trying to help people move into the direction that you moved into.
yeah,
So, yeah, congratulations on that as well.
yeah, folks don't know a lot about me as an actor.
Uh
What
huh.
I mean, they just know because I've been doing the casting for 20 years now, since
Mm hmm.
1990. But I've been acting
Mm.
prior to that, So
Yeah, see, and that's really important, Peter. It's so important. And do you know why? Why it's important to me?
no, I don't
It's
know.
important to me because as we continue to go forward, oh, I gotta not cry. There's so many young people. that are feeling lost, that are feeling like they can't do it, like they can't make it, and therein lies all the criminals and the shooting and the crime and all of that. But when they have something really tangible that they can hang on to, and all of the effort and the work that you've done that goes unnoticed, it needs to be noticed now for people who can grab just about that much of your story and run with it and become you. You know what I mean? Really. And it's so important. The lack of role model. And it's not a lack of role models. It's just that all of you who are doing what you're doing need to be more accentuated, and that's my feeling on it. So
Appreciate that.
yeah.
Well, I believe it all transcends from walking by faith and not by sight,
Mhm.
and listening to your spirit voice. And
Mhm.
I said initially, and I was setting up this interview, who been guiding me is God.
Who what?
Who's been guiding me is God.
Yes.
Because through all I couldn't have planned this. I couldn't have done it on my own.
Mm. Oh my goodness! You know what? We were supposed to make this just a very short interview, and that was impossible. And I welcome and invite you back again with us because your story is a great story,
Thank
and thank you for sharing it with us. And we're going to make sure that we get it out to the right people that need to hear that story. We're in the middle of two pandemics. That's how I refer to it.
you.
One being with involving COVID, and the other involving the racism that has always taken place, but it's just being awakened on another level here. And but with that being said, as I mentioned during the commercial break, there's so many African American people who are aspiring to do what you have done, and it's just so imperative, Peter, that this story go out and everyone get to know who Peter Wise is. And so thank you for just sharing with us. Um, we're going to talk a little bit about A House Divided quickly, because after this interview, we're bringing on Lauren Tilton Jacobs, who's a part of your cast, as well as David McKnight. And there may be another, but we want to make sure we make that available and let everyone know how to access that series that you're working so diligently on. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that after you leave. So, with that being said, is there anything else regarding A House Divided that you want to speak about quickly before we go?
No, it was a great opportunity. Again, God blessed me to package that show and be one of the producers on that show, and to hire again my friend Lawrence Hilton Jacobs, who mentored me in the beginning. And
Wow.
under the wings, and here I was able to call him, "Hey, brother, I got a job for you. I know you're the man to do it." And he said, "Hey, Pete, I'll be honored to work with you." And how it comes full circle years later. So, and it's in life, it's all about relationships and not burning bridges, because you never know when you have to cross them again. And always keep your humbleness, your humility, you know,
So
it's
important.
very
So
important.
important.
And that's something. So when you become successful, don't think that it's the end all, the be all.
Hmm.
Never.
Well, what my experience has been, Peter, and I mean, and this came from Larry Dunn of Earth, Wind, and Fire. And he mentioned something, I don't want to quote him verbatim, but this has been my experience in the short amount of time that I've been interviewing celebrities. And that is that when you really do have it and have it together, and you really are operating from a platform that is of substance,
Right.
you don't have to put it out there, because you just automatically inwardly exude that, and people know that. So you don't have to you don't have to do it. And that's been my experience. I've dealt with wonderful people such as yourself who are down to earth, who are real, including Larry Dunn and everyone. And
Mm.
I can honestly tell you, I can count on one hand and two fingers people that I've encountered that were opposite of what you're speaking of. So, with that being said, that's a very powerful thing to know that most of the people in this industry are walking the walk, just like you're saying. And that's really, really powerful.
Yeah, well, and coming from New York, that's how we lived. You know, it wasn't about the fanfare, it was about the respect amongst your peers. We didn't do it to be famous when I was coming up. You know, Denzel, uh, um, Samuel, you know, all these people, Barbara Montgomery, Loretta Devine. It wasn't about being famous, it was about being respected. Mary Alice, Gloria Edwards, Dick Anthony Williams, who was one of my teachers. You know, I was blessed. When I went to college, I was so funny how another mentor, Lloyd Richards, was my dean at Hunter College. Lloyd Richards directed Claudia McNeil in Raising the Sun. He was
Oh, wow.
Lloyd Richards then went from Hunter College to Yale and brought August Wilson, who created that platform for August Wilson.
Did
Nobody
he?
heard of August Wilson if it wasn't for Lloyd Richards.
Amazing. Amazing. That's a whole story within itself. You know that?
Yeah,
It's almost like a black, I'm sorry?
or Charles Dutton or Angela Bassett. Lloyd Richards brought all the black theater to Yale.
Amazing, amazing. That's a Black Wall Street story, except it's Black Hollywood. It's a Black Hollywood story. That's
Yeah,
amazing. And
yeah.
thank you for giving us that portion of it. So yes, you have to come back. We appreciate you, Peter. Thank you for your humble attitude and just for sharing with the Variety Talk family. I hope and pray that your family will do well throughout this COVID time, and your faith and your personality, I'm sure, will persevere through all of it. So, thanks again for sharing with us. Everyone, make sure you check out Peter Wise. You can Google him. You can get more of his story. It was very fascinating for me to read about him. Check out A House Divided. When will they be able to? It's on UMC.
It's on UMC, House Divided. We're in the second season. So it's if you go to Amazon Prime and you go to UMC, it's a $4.99 monthly charge, and they have wonderful selections of shows besides my show, uh, and there's a 7-day free trial period as well. So you can see if it works for you, if it's something in the programming is fits you and your family. But I think you'll be very satisfied with it.
Wonderful,
Bob
wonderful.
Johnson created it. Bob Johnson, who created BET. That's his platform, digital platform. So check it out.
Will do. Will do. All right, Peter Wise, we
All right.
salute you and we thank you. And blessings to you during this time. All
All
right,
right.
see you soon.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye.